I think I saw a great question here, Basavan. Again, on the product side, do you guys see a minimum threshold on the retention now that retention is becoming an important factor in the keyword rankings? I'll just toss it up to the group if anybody wants to grab it.
You see, the conversion rate can really affect your keyword ranking, because people will search for the keyword, people will download your app, you will get more downloads, you will rank higher. So it's everything connected. But I guess when we're talking the sub line of conversion rate optimization, it's separate for every category. You have to double check the conversion rate benchmark that I guess several tools have, and check if your conversion rate is it's not below the line, because you have to check the average conversion rate for your category and make some things, to improve it if it's below the line. And the more the more installs you will have, the more good rankings you will have. So this brings you to more installs, and it's like a and go and go on. So,
Mel frozen? Okay, shoot.
yeah.
Lost Mel
Uh,
there. All right.
okay.
Thomas, you got anything to add on that one? Or Mustafa?
We are talking about retention rates, right? Not conversion rates. Like,
Right. Is there a minimum threshold that you should try to hit?
uh, I don't know the numbers, but definitely Google is doing some really weird stuff about your app vitals and the retention rates. And they're trying everything to understand whether your app is really good or not. So having a high retention rate according to your category is really important, because as we know from the developer console itself, they are giving some benchmarks about your app and the other apps on your category about the retentions and the other vitals. It's really important to keep an eye on those metrics and keep an eye on those benchmarks to signal Google that we are really creating a good app in the store, and we are serving our customers, our clients, our users really well. This is really important, I think, for the Google.
Hey Mel, so what about like when Divine was kind of clarifying his question, but like compared to retention rate versus like uninstall rate, how does that have an impact?
Good question. I just wanted to jump back on the retention thing, because definitely need to be better than your category. That's like the basic thing. And the same thing with uninstalls. It's everything Google does is really compare you with your category, and that's also true for Android vitals. And so you always just want to be better than your category, which is like easy to say, but we actually saw this. I saw this question like coming up a lot, like how do I choose my category and what does category impact? Well, actually on Google, a lot of stuff is doing compared to your category. And so what we saw, for instance, this, again, this gaming app, another game studio, they actually changed their category because they kind of changed the shift of their game. So they didn't do any ASO update, they just changed the category. And in the previous category, they were actually really bad in terms of general Android vitals, or the retention rate was less, like wasn't as good as other games in that same category. And when they did the switch, without changing anything in the app per se, they were actually in a category where their vitals were better than the rest of the apps in that category. And that had a really nice impact on their visibility. So obviously, I'm not saying here you guys should like jump around and test all these categories and see where you fit the most. But yeah, what Google does at least is always compare you with your peers and compare you with the other categories. And so that's something to take in mind. And just to finish on that category thing, also, how does category rank like impact keyword? I'd say that definitely category rank is important, because it's in terms of what it's shown on your app product page. You'll see like if you rank better in a category, then that really has an impact on your conversion, because people would rather download an app that's number 4 in a category than number 15. And so that can have a big impact on your conversion. And obviously, as soon as your conversion is better, then that has an impact on your general keyword rankings and so on.
Yeah, no, sorry, so one more thing I would like to add here. Yeah, well, you're right. Google is checking everything. Your app metrics is comparing with your peers inside the category, but it's the right thing that you don't have to like jump from one category to another, because one day we did this. One day we moved our travel app from travel category to the lifestyle. I don't know why we did this, but eventually we lose almost every single download from the Explore channel. So and it took about several, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months to recover it, because Google like re-index our app, and we lose every download from Explore, and we spent really big time to bring it back. So be careful with it. Don't do it every day, please.
On the note of the categories, there's 2 new categories on iOS: developer tools, and I think it's graphic and design or something. And so, as Mel pointed out, like if you want to be high in those categories, they're brand new. They're on iOS 13.4. We just recorded a video yesterday about it, kind of saying like, hey, start to utilize, because it's something that you can't explore, but as you see it, like if you search for Behance, they're #1 in graphic and design. All right, guys. So thank you for your time. I think we covered most